moving very slowly. This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for, oh, you know what? I have something playing in the background. I got to turn that off. Okay. This is Karen with Newcleveland. Oh, be quiet, Karen, in the background. Time for, oh, you know what? I have something playing in the background. I got to turn that off. See, okay. Trying new things today. Oh, be quiet, Karen, in the background. Oh, wait a second. I'm still going. Hold on, guys. See, I have no idea why it's recording in the background. There it is. Now it's gone. Oh my gosh. So for all of our listeners out there, I have a new intro for the game for today's show. It has nothing to do with all that noise in the background, but I've gotten very professional. I now have 3 screens that I'm looking at. Don't ask me why, just am. But again, this is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and this show, What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo, is brought to you by Yes, I Can, Coaching with Karen. We all want to make changes in our life. Hey, contact me. Information will be in the show notes. I also want to welcome the Panther City men's lacrosse team from Fort Worth, Texas. They are going to be part of this show in bits and pieces because they're going to start listening to us on a regular basis. Now, Paul, you have a whole contingent from Houston. Now you have
That's true.
Houston in Fort Worth. How do you like that?
They don't like each other, but
Oh boy.
Houston and Fort Worth, come on, they don't like each other at all. They're rivals from back when they were chasing longhorns on horses. There's no there's no love between them. But the state of Texas is unified as all Texans are. So maybe in the spirit of being Texans, my friends down in Houston, and I have friends in Dallas, I have friends in Austin, San Antonio, all across the great state of Texas. They'll come together. They'll come together to listen to the Panther sponsored What in the World with me, your host, Paul Seaburn, former Texan, now back in Ohio. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. We are, after that wonderful introduction that from Karen, we are in 2024, and we're hoping that everybody had a great holiday. And that 2024 is going to be a much better year than 2023, even if you had a great year in 2023. Speaking of having a great year in 2023, my sidekick, John DiNallo, is here. Hey, John.
Hey, Paul and Karen and audience. Happy 2024. And on the sports front, for me personally, and a lot of people in Northeast Ohio, hats off to the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
They are in the playoffs for the first time in several years with an outstanding performance on Thursday on national TV against the New York Jets. And let's say this. I've watched many of Kevin Stefanski's post-game locker room reports or interviews, and he talks about the team and he talks about not quitting and playing for each other. And this team truly does. And this team is really, really been fun to watch. So give them all the praise that they deserve, and good luck to them in the playoffs, and hope that nobody gets hurt on Sunday. But
that's right.
But let's not overshadow the Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan Wolverines, with great persistence and determination, came back in the fourth quarter of the Rose Bowl to not only tie their opponents, Alabama, but they also won the game in overtime with great effort and great stamina. This is a team that is going to be reckoned with, and I cannot wait for the national championship game next Monday. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I'm going to get much sleep, unfortunately, until Monday. But just go blue, and congratulations to them, and a brand new year, 2024.
That's right. It was a great game. And speaking of great entertainment, that's why you're here at What in the World, not to hear about the Wolverines and the Browns, but also all the other great weird news that we have been collecting for the past 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since we've been in your ear or in your eyes. Right. Please, everybody, go to newclevelandradio.net. That's Karen's platform. You can find out how to download our show, how to find us on YouTube. And I like to plug YouTube because we do have photographs that go along with many of our stories. Some of you have been watching these stories on and the photographs on Facebook. I've been getting a lot of comments. We'll be talking about that. So if you're one of those people, thank you for putting us in your ear as well as on Facebook. For everybody else, please check us out on YouTube. Check out the photos. We always have a great time with them. We will explain them. I'll give them to you in great detail. So even if you miss it, you won't miss it. So
well said. Well said.
I know. Who wrote this script? Anyways, let's get right to it. We've got such a great kickoff to 2024 here. Let's start with, oh boy, I can't wait to talk about this. An unusual cheese dog was found in Scotland. Wait till you see this one. A change in the fuzzy dice law. You know those fuzzy dice that hang from many people's rearview mirror. Well, the law has been changed, so we're going to talk about that and some other laws that need to be changed. We've got Bigfoot photos from Oregon and Montana, so be ready for that and some background information on that. Sure. Also, for our UFO people, a 7-foot green, green-eyed alien was spotted in Peru by a young girl. So this was a big story on not on Facebook, but on Mysterious Universe, where I also write, and I'm the editor of the site. So we'll be talking about it here as well. You can lure these aliens with candy, and we're going to be talking about how you, if you encounter an alien, have to have the right candy, and we'll tell you what that candy is. The world's ugliest car, boy, I love this one. This is from Russia. We'll be talking about that. The world's biggest lips. That's our opening story. This was a big one on Facebook, so we'll be talking about it. It'll be our opening story here as well. And some more odd news. John's got a great sport for us to kick off the new year, besides the great news for Michigan and Browns fans. So stay tuned for John. And following John, as always, Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. So without further ado, let's get right to what surprised me on Facebook. I posted this story, and it reached well over 100,000 people on Facebook. That's wow. How many people have seen this story. Thousands have engaged with it, either liked it or disliked it or shared it with somebody else. So let's get right to it. This lady's name is Andrea Ivanova. She's in Bulgaria, and she's a media influencer, a TikToker or something like that. And her claim to fame, John, is the world's biggest lips. And I will attempt to explain them, but the photo really does it. If you want to see it here or on
oh my god
page. Oh my,
there she is. Her lips, her upper lips reach all the way into her nostrils. That's how big her upper lips are. Her lower lip comes close to covering her entire chin. And she covers them with lipstick. Probably about 4 tubes of lipstick are needed to cover those lips. Yeah. She so she was announcing on her social media page that she does this annually. She adds more filler to her lips every Christmas and New Year, and she did it again this year. So they're even bigger than they were last year. How does she pay for it? She was customer of the decade by Chapstick. So she gets these big gold trophies. She just sells them, and she pays for filler for her lips.
Wow.
One of my friends said it looked like those cherry. Remember those red wax lips? Of
course.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Boomers. All you boomers out there, remember those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This looks like, we used to pay a nickel, I think, for those. This looks like the dollar version.
Wow. I have a general question, folks. Like, is that healthy for her to have lips like that? Just that.
I sincerely doubt it, John. I don't know how she eats. Somebody asked me that. I'm not sure that she could suck on a straw with those. And I'm not even going to go any further with that analogy right
Good
there.
Good thinking
I
on that
don't,
one, Paul.
I don't
Good
know.
thinking.
Yeah, she's she plans to get the procedure done to her entire face. So next year, she'll be eligible to get into the Ghostbusters movie, the next Ghostbusters movie. She'll be the female version of the Stay Puft
Marshmallow
monster,
Man.
the Stay Puft woman. Yeah, she says she wants to fall in love. So obviously that means she's not in love yet. With anything but her lips, apparently. But she will only fall in love with someone who accepts her and isn't bothered by her looks. Let me tell you, honey, Stevie Wonder's already married, so he's out. I don't know. I don't know who else is eligible.
Wow.
To
Well, good luck to her.
So,
Hopefully she has a happy life. That's what you got to hope for, right?
she seems to be happy. She seems to be happy.
Right.
It
Yeah.
says ho 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 on her her hat. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a statement that that's what she is, or if that's because she's laughing. I don't know. And she has some lovely gifts underneath the tree, so maybe she does have some friends who accept her for what she is. So, anyways, Ivanova, whatever your name is, Happy New Year, and we'll be back to check on you next year. Now,
Okay.
second in number of people downloading this particular story, and this one was into the tens of thousands of views. Billy Thompson of Edinburgh, Scotland, he was having a party, a holiday party. So he goes to Tesco, that's the big chain in the UK, and he buys all the cheese that they had, 20 pounds of cheese, and he realizes that it's way too much cheese for his party. So he takes what he's not going to serve and he sculpts it into a dog.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
I'm showing a photo of Billy and his dog. The dog is massive. The dog is about half the size of Billy, and Billy is quite a hefty fellow, I should say. And next to him on a table is a dog made with slices of cheddar cheese.
And there's a resemblance between the two.
That's what everybody said. There's quite a resemblance between Billy and his dog. Now, the dog is based on a famous statue in Scotland. The Greyfriars Bobby is his name. It's a Skye Terrier who, in the 1800s, when his owner passed away and was buried in the Greyfriars Cemetery, the dog came to visit his grave every day for 14 years before the dog itself passed away and was buried in the cemetery. Yeah. So the party with the cheese, was a flop. But Billy had dozens of dogs circling his house, guarding it, guarding the statue, and maybe hoping he'd throw some out there. Wow. 20 pounds of cheese. That you realize that could make well over a ton of cheese with. So.
Yeah, but
just that little bit, or maybe 20 tons of Cheez-Its or Cheetos.
Yes.
It's just a lot.
It is. It's a tremendous amount. But that dog's
a lot of cheese. Yeah, that's a lot of cheese. Made him decide to make a statue of a dog out of cheese slices. Why not maybe a statue of Papa John? The pizza guy. Except I'm not sure anybody knows what Papa John looks like. I would have. Personally, I would have made a Super Bowl trophy if I had 20 pounds of cheese, because the only time I've ever seen 20 pounds of cheese is at a Super Bowl party. So I think they go together, right?
I'll tell you though that that dog's face is remarkable. I mean,
yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really a remarkable statue that he put together there. It really is.
Here's a photo of the statue itself. Yeah, take a look.
Oh,
it
wow.
looks very similar to the statue. Yeah. Yeah. So, the guy himself, Billy Thompson, a lot of people said that he looks like Rubus Hagrid and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, from the Harry Potter series.
Okay.
Character was played Robbie Coltrane, a wonderful actor. So a lot of people said that that's what it is. I'm not sure. I guess he does. Handsome fellow, handsome dog.
Wow.
What else can I say? Okay, so very popular story on Facebook. There's the statue of the dog. Okay, so now let's talk about laws. The first of the year, it's time for all our lawmakers to start looking at laws and thinking about what they might change. So on January 1st, an old law was repealed in Illinois, and police in Illinois are no longer allowed to pull over motorists solely because they have fuzzy dice hanging from their rearview mirrors. Now, for those of you who've never seen the fuzzy dice, there's a fuzzy dice, pair of fuzzy dice hanging from a rearview mirror. John, did you ever have fuzzy dice on a rearview mirror?
I'm going to say no, but I know a lot of people in my neighborhood. In fact, older teenagers would have those in their cars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The tough kids. People excited about hearing this news that they can hang their fuzzy dice on their mirrors again. Maybe just disappointed to learn that although they can do that, they're still not allowed to use the rearview mirror to put a little dab of Brill cream in their hair and comb it while they're driving.
It's a blast back to the 60s right there. Sure.
You better believe it. What was the slogan for Brill cream, John?
A little dab will do ya.
There you go, Karen. Way to go.
Good job, Karen. Good job.
There's a whole song that goes with it. I was going to sing it, and then I thought, no, I don't want to start the new year with me singing.
Good thinking, Paul. Good thinking on that one.
Little dab there. So this is another one of those laws you can't get off the books. In Cleveland, I looked up some laws in Ohio that you also can't get off the books. Here's one. In Cleveland, it's illegal to catch mice without a hunting license. I did not know that. I have broken that law many times. They need to put that law on the back of mouse traps, so people know that they're breaking.
Wait a second. Right? You can't capture mice without a hunting license?
There is an obscure law somewhere in Cleveland that says you can't catch or trap or kill mice without a hunting license. Yeah.
I'm glad I live in Summit County.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's a Cleveland law. Bay Village, also in Cuyahoga County, I believe. It's illegal to walk a cow down Lake Road. Now, I don't know if you can ride a cow down Lake Road, but you cannot walk down Lake Road. How about that? Okay. Columbus, for listeners in Columbus, it is illegal for stores to sell cornflakes on Sunday. Now,
that's absurd. That's absurd right there, that law.
Yeah, I know. You can sell Cheerios because Sunday is a holy day of obligation. So I know.
You got your horn. Where's your horn at this year for the beginning?
I don't know if it's working today. Can you hear it? Oh, there we go. Okay, great. In Ohio, across the state, it is illegal to kill a housefly within 160 feet of a church, also without a license. So A, I'm baffled that it's illegal to kill a housefly. B, there's actually housefly hunting licenses in the state of Ohio. Fortunately, if you do violate this law, you're going to be by a church and there'll be a confessional there and you'll at least be able to go and confess your sin. So, the use of fuzzy dice, I want to get back to the fuzzy dice, dates back to World War II. I didn't realize this. This was actually originated by pilots in World War II, and they used they would hang dice from something in the cockpit of the plane as a good luck charm, and it was lucky 7, so they always tried to make sure that the 6 and the 1 were facing them in order to get good luck. In the 1950s. In the 1950s, this became they brought the practice back with them, and as hot rodding became popular, drivers were starting to have the big fuzzy dice hanging from their mirrors also as a good luck charm, especially if you were into street racing. That was a big thing. If you were into street racing, you needed something for good luck. You had your fuzzy dice. I had a pair, by the way. Now I wasn't into street racing. I didn't know that that's what they were for. I just thought they were cool. I had them hanging from my rearview mirror of my little Volkswagen Beetle, and a car pulls up to me and wants to race. And so then I had to get my air freshener and hang that from the rearview mirror because I crapped in my paint.
Very good, Paul. Very good.
Believe it or not, speaking of air freshener, those little pine trees that everybody has hanging in their car, those date back to 1952 when a milk truck driver in northern New York complained to his neighbor, who was a chemist, that he couldn't stand the smell of sour milk in the milk truck. So his friend the chemist goes to work and invents an air freshener and on an absorbent blotter material. Remember blotters when we used to use pens?
Sure.
And he may put on blotter material and gave it to his friend. Everybody loved it. So the guy went into business for himself. And he started, I think I have the name of the company here, the Little Trees Company, it's called, of Watertown, New York. So those, everybody sells them now, but the originals were sold by the Little Trees Company of Watertown, New York. So there you go, fuzzy dice, little trees.
Wow.
Yeah, you learn something every year, I guess, on what in the world. Starting the year off with some information for you. Okay. Another story that was really popular on Facebook. A woman in Florida, of course, is suing the Hershey Company for, get this, $5 million. Why? Because she's upset that on Halloween, when she bought Hershey's pumpkins and they had a face carved in the Hershey's chocolate on the wrapper, when she opened it up, it didn't have a face on the candy, as you can see in this picture. Thus, she believes that's an example of false advertising, and she is so upset that she needs $5 million in damages from the Hershey Company. How about that?
Well,
Nothing
what
ahead,
stupid
Karen.
attorney is taking this on?
I mean, wait a minute, time out.
There's always
Nothing like a frivolous lawsuit. I mean, how ridiculous is this?
I know. Oh, how ridiculous is it? Wait until she tries to go swimming or goes on a cruise and takes a roll of lifesavers with her. Thinking that's going to help her on the Titanic too, or whatever it is she's sailing on.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. It's a frivolous lawsuit, especially against such a fine company as the Hershey Company that makes. John, I know this is your favorite candy, and one of mine is.
I was going to say that, Paul and Karen, and audience, that it is my favorite candy, hands down.
Now, have you ever bought one of the pumpkins, John?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever bought any of the other shapes besides?
Yeah, they have like Christmas trees and Easter bunnies, I believe. So, I mean, you can. It doesn't matter what the package is. It's the content inside, right?
Got it.
How things are in life,
but the content inside the inside, right?
Right, and that's an unbelievable combination of peanut butter and chocolate, milk chocolate. You just can't beat it. Yeah.
That's right. You would not believe how many different shapes they put these things in. And you mentioned the bunny. They call it the Reester bunny instead of the Easter bunny. People are disappointed. The same thing. People are disappointed. They get the bunny. There's no little chocolate rabbit turds in there. False advertising. Christmas tree. No needles falling down. False advertising. But my favorite, snowman. Snowman doesn't melt. False advertising. This is a good one. There's a Reese's ugly sweater. Have you ever seen that at Christmas time? The Reese's ugly
I haven't.
No.
I think I have up there. It is right there.
Oh, okay.
How neat.
Yeah. So it's in the shape of a like a vest sweater, and it comes in a really ugly wrapper. So it's the Reese's ugly sweater. I'm sure this woman would complain. She buys one, it doesn't fit. This is it. The best idea Reese's ever came up with is the mystery. They call it the unidentifiable mystery shapes. Here's a photo of them here. So they took candy that was deformed and it didn't look like a tree. It didn't look like an ugly sweater. It didn't look like a rabbit, but they didn't want to throw them away. So they put them all into a bag and they call it Reese's Mystery Shapes. And you can see,
Yeah,
they
really.
sell them. They sell them. They think it's great. People think it's great. John's probably bought some.
I have not yet, but I'm glad that you
Oh.
took, presented this to me because I'll be investigating it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Reese's Mystery Shape. Who knows what they look like? They taste great. Speaking of tasting great, and this is for our friends down in Texas, by the way, because this is where I learned the history of this particular candy. But let's talk about the UFO first. I have a link between candy and UFO. So the makers of moon pies. So these are moon pies right here. If you haven't seen them, let's go. There's a moon pie right there. They have become the first candy brand to market specifically to space aliens. This is the Chattanooga Bakery Company in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have paired up with their advertising agency, and they're starting to put moon pie pictures on billboards. Here's a billboard in Times Square. I didn't see this on the New Year's Eve thing,
No.
but there's a billboard with a giant moon pie on it, and it's written in this strange language that they claim is can be read by alien. So these billboards are in New York, Times Square, Washington D.C., Roswell, New Mexico, Cape Canaveral, London, and Tokyo. All locations where they say aliens are said to be found. So I didn't see them on Times Square, although I think Ryan Seacrest is an alien. Because I was changing channels. I'm changing channels. There's Ryan Seacrest. I change the channels again. There's Ryan Seacrest. He's everywhere. He's on game shows. He's all over the place. So I think if there's anybody who's an alien, I don't know if he likes moon pies. But so this language is called the Linkos language, which basically translates English into a binary bitmap code-based language that aliens supposedly can read and understand.
Interesting.
I thought binary was a language that aliens could understand. The ones and zeros.
Well, you would think. I mean, you would think that. Yeah, in general.
Yeah, zeros and ones. Then I found out that zeros are okay, but some people didn't know how to make the one, and they were giving aliens the finger. And next thing you know, you're abducted. It's not good. Not good. So my alien friends out there, don't try to communicate with aliens using binary. So the moon pie, let's see, let me put the moon pie back up here. Moon pies have you ever had a moon pie, John, by the way?
I'm going to have to say I have not. I don't think I ever had the pleasure of having a moon pie.
Oh, they are the best.
Karen, yeah, you just came back from Texas. Boy,
yeah.
You can't turn around without seeing moon pies in Texas. No. They were invented in 1917 in Chattanooga by the Chattanooga Bakery. And here's how they came up with the idea. A traveling salesman, back when they had traveling candy salesmen, was in Kentucky, and he met a coal miner, and he asked the coal miner what kind of snack he'd like to eat when he's down working in the mines, working in the coal mine, going down. You remember that song?
Yep. Sure, of course.
And the miner said, believe it or not, he said he'd like something with graham crackers and marshmallows, and he wanted it to be as big as the moon. So the salesman writes all this down. He rushes back to Chattanooga, and that's what they came up with, the moon pie, based on what that miner said.
Story there, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it goes with RC Cola. Okay, down in Texas, I didn't notice till I went down to Texas that they call it the workman's lunch, but kids also have it. A big RC Cola in a glass bottle, ice cold RC Cola, and a moon pie. That's called the workman's lunch.
Wow.
Yeah. Gives you the workman's farts and belches. But that's
that's true. That's true also. Yeah.
Yeah. Go down to the South. Moon pies are everywhere, made with real sugar, by the way. So you can find out more about it on their website, believe it or not, moonpiealienacquisition.com. And you can tell if you meet someone eating a moon pie and they don't have an RC Cola in the other hand, it's probably an alien who hasn't caught on to the tradition.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of aliens, so get your moon pies ready if you see one of these aliens. In fact, I think I have a picture of it right here. There we go. Okay, a 15-year-old girl in Peru says she was kidnapped by a 7-foot tall, green-eyed alien wearing black body armor, a jetpack, shoes. They had green eyes, and one of them injected a cream in her nose that made her eyes blurry and her face numb. Now, before we go any further, if aliens, if you're interested, I have a bunch of friends who would pay good money for a cream like that. So call me up.
This is an interesting photo that you have here, Paul. Okay,
Yeah.
now, is this
It's like doing Jello shots with Jello pudding instead. This is not the alien, by the way. This is an amazing recreation using artificial intelligence of what I.
Okay.
So now in Peru, there's a certain type of monster called the face peeler. So they think that this alien may have been one of the face peelers. The face peeler, the translation, the Los Palacaras, which is Peru, I think, is Spanish. So they eat human organs and fat is what the face peelers do, especially from a person's face, which, if you listen to our show, we never really talk about vegetarian monsters. It seems like the monsters always eat meat. You don't hear too much about the vegetarian.
That's true.
Yeah, Loch Ness monster that only eats potatoes and scotch. Never hear about that up in Scotland.
It's a strict diet that the Loch Ness has. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So they suspect that the aliens, the people investigating it, they said they think that they're members of a military group that was guarding gold mining operations, illegal gold mining operations. So they're not sure that it was really, the girl really saw an alien. But if it was aliens, next time you go down to Peru, take some moon pie because you want to be prepared. Okay. Speaking of monsters, let's move right on to Bigfoot, everybody's favorite monster. So, I mean, it's a good thing Bigfoot doesn't eat livers and human livers and faces. We wouldn't be so enamored with him. Now, so this first story comes from the Northern Cheyenne Indian Reservation in Montana. Colton Small is the guy's name, and he was going through images taken on his game camera out on the reservation, and he found one in September of 2020. So he was really going back a long way, which showed what appeared to be a Bigfoot. Let's take a look at it right here. Okay, so we have the handy dandy red circle for those of you who can look at it on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. If you can't see the photo, you're not missing too much. It's you see a big red circle and something that may or may not be a blurry Bigfoot walking across the screen at night. So it's it's a dark photo. The guy, he said it could be a Bigfoot, it could be a skinwalker or some other mysterious figure. Now, he mentioned skinwalkers because it's an Indian reservation, and the Native Americans are definitely more afraid of skinwalkers than they are of Bigfoot. Because skinwalkers are shapeshifters, like Oprah. Oprah's a shapeshifter too. Sometimes she's skinny, sometimes she's big.
That's good.
You don't get any prizes from this kind of shapeshifter.
I must say, Paul and Karen, an audience, he blends right into the foreground.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Look at him; he just blends right in there, which lends credence.
I have another one. Oh, this is
a little better.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah, that was Bigfoot. So you see the trees in the background there. So they went back they went back there to the same site, and you can see the trees in the background. So this is the guy and his friend in the daylight. So that Bigfoot wasn't that much bigger than they were, which a lot of people.
By scale, they're clearly the same size, but
some people said that maybe the Bigfoot was a tall Bigfoot and it was bending over, it was stooped down, which I can think that it might have been looking for a contact lens for all we know. Think about this, John. Maybe Bigfoot needs glasses, and the reason why it doesn't bother Bigfoot that it's all the photos are blurry is because the whole world is blurry to Bigfoot.
You know what? That is a earth-shaking statement you just made that I never really thought of. And that's a thought provoker, Paul, about Bigfoot. I'm gonna have to rethink my views on Bigfoot with what you just said. It's a great revelation to me. Wow.
There you go. Bigfoot kid. Bigfoot needs glasses. Okay, let me see. Did I have a Oh, I sent this to John. This is for those of
Yes,
you
you
who
did.
are
Ah,
You did.
yeah. This is a chart. If you look up Bigfoot knowledge, you'll find this chart on the internet, and it shows how big people think Bigfoot is. People think Bigfoot's 8 feet tall. 10 places where you'll encounter Bigfoot. The number 1 is Washington. Number 5 is Ohio. 10 weird facts you never knew about Bigfoot. There's at least 12 different kinds of Bigfoot in the United States. Goes back 3,000 years. Bigfoot has a ruthless streak. I never heard of that. Bigfoot likes apples. We've talked about that before.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I thought I'd put that up there for you. Now,
Oh yeah, I recall that. Thanks, Paul.
yeah. So the next story comes from Oregon, and a woman in Oregon was reported to the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, who collects all Bigfoot sightings. She sent a video of a campground in the Blue Mountains where she thought she saw a Bigfoot because it was so huge, big wide shoulders, dark full body fur, extremely long arms, which swung back and forth while it was walking up a hill. So here's a photo of it. This is a clip actually from the video itself there for you, John. So, I was thinking to me, it looks like Chewbacca, but nobody ever says that Bigfoot looks like Chewbacca. I don't know why
That's,
that is.
that's exactly right, Paul. That's a good point.
Yeah.
No one says it looks
Maybe.
like Chewbacca, right?
Maybe Chewbacca sues, for copyright infringement.
Could be doing that,
Yeah.
right? Sure.
So the woman said that the Bigfoot looked kind of wobbly. Well, I thought it was interesting. And then she thought maybe it was limping. So I put 2 and 2 together. Maybe it's either he can't see where he's going, or if it's in Oregon, maybe it's what she actually saw was a lineman for the Seattle Seahawks who was injured injured on Sunday. He's walking home. He was late for the team bus. He's walking home, and they found him in the woods.
No,
Maybe
boy.
he's got a high ankle sprain. That's what all of
Good one, Paul. Good one.
or maybe it's Shaquille O'Neal. How do you know that's not Shaquille O'Neal in a big fur coat?
Hey, anything's possible.
could be, yeah.
Sure, covering a
Anything's
Portland
possible.
Trailblazers game. Misses his limo. He doesn't want to get a ride from Charles Barkley, so he goes walking through. Next thing you know, there he is. He's
Yeah.
Bigfoot. I think I have another photo. There's another one there. Enlarged 250 times, John. Does it look any better than the previous
No,
one?
it's still fuzzy, unfortunately. And true to Bigfoot form. True
Yeah.
to Bigfoot form, yes.
Yeah. So the people at Rocky Mountain, the Bigfoot people, said that they think it's a maybe a teenage Bigfoot, and that if there's one Bigfoot, they said there are always more off in the distance watching the Bigfoot, like a peeping Bigfoot. That's what I think. Maybe they've got their own YouTube channel, where they post photos of human women.
There we go.
Girls of the Pacific Northwest. I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. We'll pass on
Don't
that.
go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, okay. All right. So another one of my favorite stories of the week, world record. We love talking about world record. This one comes from Brisbane, Australia. Nicholas Manning of Brisbane, Australia, set a new Guinness World Record when he put on, get ready, 10 pairs of underpants in just 13.03 seconds. He had them all lined up so he could kind of hop from one to the other, and he's pulling them up. He set a second record for being the only man in Australia who had 10 clean pairs of underpants that he then used to set the record.
I have to say something on this. This is bizarre. This is
bizarre. John, we're talking about feeding aliens moon pie, and you say this is bizarre.
It's bizarre. This is what motivates this person to do this. This is a bizarre activity, in my opinion. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
I can't recall. I had to take some water there. I can't recover. This is bizarre. Okay, so he, you could tell he's young though. He put him on standing up and he never fell over once. I mean, I can barely get one leg in and I'm already leaning against the wall.
Oh,
I wore 10 pairs of underpants once in my life. And that was when I had to take a bus ride downtown on the state bus. I want to give credit to that joke to the lovely Donna, who used to ride the bus downtown in Cleveland, also in Houston, by the way. And she had a special coat that she would wear on the bus called her bus coat, because you never know who was sitting there before. And she never wanted to wear her good coat on the bus. So she wore a bus coat.
Smart lady.
Now, before that's right. And I wanted to sue the people at the Big Bang Theory, because on the Big Bang Theory, Dr. Sheldon Cooper used to have what he called bus pants that he wore for the very same reason. Long after the lovely Donna had her bus coat. So,
wow.
Now, if you remember in our last show, with the 3 weeks past, we talked about Waffle House and the people who get Waffle House tattoos.
Yep.
Like, so here's another. This is even weirder than that, John. Even weirder than the guy putting on underpants.
Okay, that's fine.
So this comes from Georgia, from Riverdale, Georgia. Police down there are looking for a woman who posed as a Waffle House waitress for 2 hours. So she pretended to work at this Waffle House for 2 hours before, when no one's looking, opening up the cash register and stealing all the cash and running away.
Oh.
Now, yeah, you would have thought the customers would have stopped her, but she was the only waitress they had there who didn't have any tattoos, didn't smoke, didn't swear. They loved her. They thought, come back. So I don't know why she ran away, because nobody's going to chase her. Everybody there was either hungover or drunk. They don't care. So the cops issued an all-points bulletin. Be on the lookout for a woman who smells like maple syrup and is covered with powdered sugar, which is what happens when you work at Waffle Houses, apparently. Okay, let's see how we doing on time here. Let's get to this this car. I love this Russian car. So this comes from the Russian car company Avtotor. I wouldn't buy the car just because I can't pronounce the name. They announced plans to build 50,000 of this car, whose photo I have up here. It's called the Amber Yantar electric car. They say it's economical, has easy to swap batteries, so drivers can rent batteries instead of charging them. I don't know. Took one look at this car. It's got tiny little beady headlights, like
yeah, really. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. No window in the back. It's so it's so ugly that they said that anyone caught driving one out of the dealership will be charged with an SWI, shopping while intoxicated. That's how ugly this car is. It's so ugly, a Yugo looked at it and got its self-esteem back. That's how ugly it is. But wait, there's more. It's so ugly, toll booth operators will pay you to use another lane. That's how ugly it is.
Wow, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Oh, John, it's so ugly, the car wash spit it out.
Oh, well, that's
wow.
Right there. Wow.
It's so ugly, the GPS keeps taking it to the junkyard. One more.
Oh my gosh.
Good reason to own an ugly car. Nobody wants to steal it. Even in Cleveland, Ohio, nobody wants to steal it. So how's that for an ugly car? Isn't that you can't, there's no fender. The fender disappears. If you get in an accident, you pretty much have to, it looks like it's one entire piece of plastic that makes up the car,
right?
Except for the doors. And I don't know what those holes are sticking out of the side.
It's a strange.
It must look like some sort of vents.
Yeah.
Vents, yeah. In case you're eating moon pies and RC colas and you start farting. How are we doing on time here? I'll mention this one real fast. This was the third most popular story on the internet this week. Woman was dining in a high-class Asian restaurant in England, and she found this in her food. Now, she pulled it out, and she thought it looked like an animal's foot in her tikka masala. But the manager said it was a piece of cardamom spice that was only partially chopped. I don't know. It looks like a foot to me. This is why I like menus with pictures on them, because if I see a rat, with only 3 legs on the menu, I know I'm not
Yeah.
sure
Paul.
that is.
Good thinking.
Or on crutches, yeah. It was a classy joint. They said it was a high-class French and Mexican restaurant. I think it was called Le Taco Bella.
Get the horn out for that one.
Pretty much everybody said that they thought this was part of an animal. This is a cardamom seed, by the way, which doesn't look anything like what they were looking at.
I agree.
A bunch of cardamom seeds on a spoon. I don't even think the size matched. Now, I got one more sports story to lead into John's segment on sports here. So this one comes from Armenia. So this guy, his name is Gregor Manoukian. He's 18 years old. He set a Guinness World Record for the most consecutive pull-ups on a bar that was positioned between 2 moving trucks. So picture this, 2 semi-trucks with a pole between them sticking out the windows, a kid, 18-year-old kid on the pole doing pull-ups while they're going 3 miles an hour. He did, get ready, 44 pull-ups.
And an ambulance behind.
Right.
That's
Good
right.
planning. Good planning there. Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he actually he tried to do one more, but he did a one-handed one at the end while he was giving a finger to the people who cut off the trucks. Yeah,
There we go.
44 pull-ups. I can't even pull up my pants twice in a row. He did 44 pull-ups. How would you like to be the truck drivers here? Talk about pressure. They gotta, they got to watch what they're doing. The poor guy, he starts out, his name is Grigor. Before long, his name is Oreo. This is a dangerous thing to do, John, wouldn't you say?
Oh, more than dangerous, Paul. I mean, yeah, why would you take your life in your own hands doing that? But
I don't know. But
speaking of, it takes all kinds.
That's right. Speaking of taking your life into your own hand, that should be the motto for What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo.
That's a great idea, Paul. I think sometimes we come up with these phrases off the top of our heads, and I think
the top of our head.
That will stick. That will stick.
Well, John, every week I challenge John to come up with a sport that not one that's dangerous, but one that fits in the theme of What in the World, which is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. John always manages to come up with a sport. Sometimes they're dangerous, sometimes they're just fun, sometimes they're goofy, sometimes they're just so unbelievable. You can't imagine that people actually do them. And yet we find governing bodies, we find championships, you name it. I think we've got one of those sports this week. So, John, why don't you get introduce your sport, and we'll line up the photos for you.
Oh, it sounds good, Paul and Karen and audience. So our first sport for the year this year, new sport, is lightsaber dueling. Okay, lightsaber dueling. Now,
that sounds like fun.
It is. This sport originates in France, and it was created to get the younger generation in France off the couch and exercising. In fact, the French Fencing Federation, that's for you, Karen, recently recognized lightsaber dueling as a competitive sport.
Wow.
Let me explain. As in the medieval tales, such as the Three Musketeers, French youths now have taken up classic fencing sports with the Star Wars twist. And this is to save the people from the clutches of the growing evil currently plaguing the public health, the sedentary lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least that is how officials from the French Fencing Federation explained their decision to acknowledge once and for all lightsaber dueling as an official sport.
Oh, wow.
They have even included some specific rules designed to make battles between Jedi Knights and Sith Lords more visually appealing and getting young people interested in taking up the sport.
Well, there's a whole crowd of people in this.
Yeah, look at them. Sure. Now, what makes the Star Wars franchise so special is the fact that it appears to many, it appeals to many adults as well. Many of us who grew up watching George Lucas's original episodes and still consider the opportunity to fight against the Sith or the Jedis in real life, but with polycarbonate LEDs.
Wow.
LED lit lightsabers, which is really a dream come true for them. Now, these lightsaber battles are carried out in a circle marked with a tape on the floor, and they last for a total of 3 minutes. The goal of the duelist is to reach 15 points before their opponent does, and then win the bout. If both players reach 10 points within the 3-minute time span, the duel enters an exciting, quote, sudden death, unquote, stage where the first combatant to land a body or hand blow wins the match.
Wow.
Strikes in the head or body count for 5 points each. Hits on the arms and legs are 3 points. And then a mere slap or touch on the hand is worth 1 point. If neither of the fighters reaches 15 points before the 13 minutes are up, the fighter with the highest score wins.
Wow.
Of course, lightsaber duels are carried out in low light conditions. And that is to make, the lightsaber motions more visually appealing, for not only the participants, but for the spectators.
Yeah, I want to say, looking at these photos, these are very realistic.
Oh,
looking.
absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
Now,
It looks like right out of the movies.
it's right out of the
It
movie.
looks like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does. Now, we have all seen unofficial real-life Jedi academies before, and some people even list Jedi as their official faith. Now, it's true in
Yeah.
the national census or living their daily lives as Jedis. But it is nice to see a part of the Star Wars universe officially recognized as a real sport.
Yeah.
I'm going to close with this thought. If we get a lightsaber team in Cleveland, the first player we are drafting is Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah. He can do anything. That's right, Joe. Go. Yeah.
He can't do any wrong, Paul and Karen.
Yeah.
He can't do any wrong. Hail
Man.
Joe Flacco. Hail Joe Flacco.
We'd get the Super Bowl of lightsabers.
There you are. Oh, Lord.
Look at that professional
Very
lightsaber
good.
team right there. Yeah. Well, we could see this in the Olympics. I think this is actually looked like a fun sport there, John.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Paul and Karen and audience, it's not strange. It's even though we have all these weird and strange sports, this is kind of a neat sport that, as Paul says, is fun.
Well, and I think you would get kids off the couch. So yeah.
Be interested in doing this, sure. Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
I think so. Wow, professional. So professional lightsaber fencing. That sounds like a great sport. But Star Wars came out, just after 1980, if I remember correctly. It was
that's correct.
But John, you and I participated in a form of lightsaber fencing a few years before that when we were in college. Do you remember doing that?
You have to refresh my memory. My memory's failing me, Paul. All the time you bring up these comparisons that we had or these situations in college, which I know they're factual, okay? Because first of all, there is verifiable evidence that shows that we actually did this, and so you do a great job of keeping me up to speed or kind of remembering all these things from many years ago. But go ahead.
John, you're too modest. John doesn't remember that he was one of the top lightsaber fencers at our college.
Really?
That's right. You were. I have photographic proof, by the way. Now, this is John and I actually competed against each other, even though we were good friends and fraternity brothers. We were in some sort of tournament, and I have a photo of John. Now this was long before they had safety regulations on lightsabers or whatever it was we were fencing with here. So here's a photo of John. This is where he cut off my left arm.
Oh,
And that wasn't enough. Now, John, I'm dressed in black. John is in white. In case you can't figure that out. Then he cut off my leg here. You can see that photo there. So this is getting pretty deadly. So then the referee came in and said, I think John may be using an illegal sword. So they actually gave us some lightsabers. So we finished with lightsabers, and there's John finishing me off with a lightsaber right there.
Paul, it's one of those things I wanted to blot out of my memory because it wasn't a very good memory, and it has a striking. We have a striking resemblance to the Black Knight from Monty Python. A striking resemblance.
Funny, that's right. You looked an awful lot like King Arthur there, Mike. For those of you who can't figure that out, we were using photos from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This last one, though, this looks like a real lightsaber stabbing right here. So, boy, looks like a dangerous sport. But the lightsaber fencing is not, according to John DiNallo and What in World of Sports. With John, thank you so much for that sport this week.
Oh, you're very welcome, Paul.
If you're new to What in the World, we have a sport from John every week, followed by Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Let's see if we can get that ugly picture down from there and there we go. So we got photos of everybody, all of us here. So okay. Bluff the Co-host, our good friend Paul, regular listener, he says this is his favorite part of the show. Every week we feature 3 stories, just like the ones that I've been telling over the past hour, with one big difference. All of those stories were real, taken right off of very reliable sources on the internet. These, on the other hand, could be real, they could be a bluff, and it's up to Karen, John, and those of you playing at home, either watching us on YouTube or listening in your ear, to decide real or bluff. Gambling is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 1. In honor of the 100th anniversary of the invention of the Dum Dum Sucker, the makers have teamed up with the Bacardi Company to make its first ever alcoholic product, the Rum Rum Sucker. Just as its name applies, the Rum Rum Sucker is a large, hollowed out hard candy filled with a real shot of real Bacardi rum. To go with the taste of the liquor inside, the Rum Rum Sucker flavors will include pineapple, coconut, lime, orange, and maraschino cherry. And the holder will be a real swizzle stick. Because they contain a full liquid shot of rum, the Rum Rum Sucker wrapper will contain a warning to avoid driving while licking. If you buy a box of 12 Rum Rums, they will throw in a Bloody Bloody Mary Sucker for the hangover afterwards. Okay, so the Dum Dum Sucker Company has teamed up with Bacardi to come up with the Rum Rum Sucker filled with a full shot of Bacardi rum. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
I think it sounds like a dumb idea, so I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Okay, Karen comes up with a good one on her own. Wait, great. All right, Karen says it's a bluff. John, what do you say? Real or bluff?
I'm going to say it's real, and I'm going to take it a step further. I would hope it's real. I think that's a great idea. I mean, I really do. I think that, kind of go back to like when people used to have suckers, and I'm sure young people have suckers now, right? But suckers were big back in the 60s and 70s or whatever.
That's right.
It worked for Kojak, obviously, right? I mean,
that's right. Yeah, Telly Savalas. Right. Boy,
but
for the non-boomers, we don't have enough time to explain that one.
Some will get it, some will not. But I'm
Kojak. Look up Kojak. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so John says Rum Rum Suckers are real. Karen says Rum Rums are a dumb idea and a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations go to Karen. That is a dumb idea. That's right.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I think it's a good idea, except for the fact that it's going to get in the hands of kids.
Yeah.
Kids,
yeah.
How would you control
it? Yeah.
No
would
kidding.
Be tough to control. But by the way, we've talked about the Dum Dum Sucker Company. That is actually based. The company that makes them now is based in Bellevue, Ohio. So a local connection there. Okay, so the score is 1-0. Ooh, John's starting off the new year from behind here, while Karen is so
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Well, we want to treat our media mogul nice, John.
Yeah, we have to. That's what we have to do that for sure.
There you go. All right. No, we're not doing that at all. Okay, let's get right to story number 2. The hot new trend among Generation Z women in 2024 is January. It means that the Gen Z girls are putting down their razors for the month of January and going hairy. That's legs, armpits, upper lips, bikini lines, and even that area above the nose that turns your eyebrows into unibrows. The movement started not in France, but in England, where TikTok influencers rebelled against the short skirts, sleeveless tops, skimpy bikinis, and other outfits being pushed by the fashion industry, and told their followers to put down their razors and go January. The Gillette company says it's glad there's only 2 months that end in airy, but January fans say they'll march with hairy legs all the way to No Shavember and beyond. Okay, girls in England going for January, putting down their razors for the month of January. What do you say, John? Real or bluff?
Well, I would have to say that every fad that's ever been, has its day or has its place. And I'm thinking this fad has its place right now in January.
So John says it's a January story. Do I understand that correctly?
It is genuinely right.
Okay. All right. John says it's real. Karen, how about you?
I hate to believe that it's right but I think it's right. It's
Wow.
like what young women would do today.
Young women would do it. You would never do something like that.
Oh,
no.
Never.
Okay, both John and Karen agree January is a real idea. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, congratulations to both of you. That is a real.
All right, very good. Okay.
Look for hairy girls wherever
where you are.
Wherever you run into Gen Z girls. There you go. Okay. So that means the score is 2-1. Karen's still in the lead, but points are doubled in round number 3. So John could come roaring back. Let's get right to it. If you think portions are getting smaller, you may want to avoid a new sushi restaurant just outside of Tokyo, where the sushi chef specializes in slicing his raw fish so small that it can fit on a single grain of rice. He even slices tiny pieces of seaweed to tie the sushi with and serves a variety of the raw fish on a sushi platter the size of a quarter. The plate comes with chopsticks the size of tweezers and a magnifying glass for those who need some extra help. The preparation is so delicate that the chef can only serve his micro sushi a few times per week. So it's best to call ahead or have your Uber Eats driver pick up a spoonful for delivery. Okay, sushi sliced so small that it fits on a single grain of rice, courtesy of a sushi chef in Tokyo. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll go with you first.
Wow. Those sushi chefs, they're really good. They can do these things. But I'm hoping it's a bluff because that's totally insane.
Totally. Not just insane. Totally insane. Okay. Karen said that it's a bluff. John, how about you? Sushi that you are.
Well, no, I understand Karen's thinking on this, but I'm going to say it's true because I could see a chef going in this direction of trying to outdo other people and come up with a novel item on the menu, right? I mean, think of that. I mean, everyone's looking at food these days and, make it more creative, more, things are different. So I'm going to say it's true.
Ooh, John says it's true. John says sushi on a single grain of rice is true. Karen said there's no chef in Tokyo who could do that because it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, holy smoke, congratulations, John. You got the double the points, and you have moved the lead.
Oh, wow.
Won the first edition of Bluff the Co-host for January for 2024.
I have to tell you, there was a lot of studying by Annette and I, in our 3-week hiatus there. So, kudos to Annette. I mean, she really helped me on this one. So
there you go.
Thank you very much. And I have to thank Annette.
There you go. Well, tell Annette now she can go January for the month to celebrate.
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. Oh.
And if you're interested in seeing it, just Google sushi on a grain of rice. It's unbelievable what he does, and it's mind blowing. So Karen, I'm sure will come back next week as
I'm
she always.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of Bluff the Co-host. That means we've reached the end of the first edition of What in the World for 2024. I want to thank Karen Hale, our media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our co-host and all around great partner to have, especially because she also sponsors our show. Yes, I Can Coaching with Karen. Go to the website. You'll find out all about it. If you need coaching, she's the person to see. And she can also coach you on your what are these called again? Podcast. check out some of the great podcasts that Karen has also on the show, on the site. After, of course, you download What in the World for free, by the way. Also, thank you to the Panthers. We'll be looking forward to more good news from them this year.
Absolutely.
As well. Sure. And as always, thank you to my other co-host and good friend and host of sports, John DiNallo. John, as always, great to see you again. Let's hope we have a great year this year, and good luck to the Browns and the Wolverines next week.
Oh, thanks, Paul and Karen. And yeah, it's great to have another fresh year in front of us here, and I'm sure we'll have a great year.
Yeah. And of course, thank you to everybody out there listening to the show. Those of you who let me know on Facebook that you tune into the show, you love the stories. We love hearing from you. I even got a suggestion from one of our listeners this week. So I, thank you to her. And we do take suggestions. Facebook is a great place to do that. So to communicate with me. So thank you. This is the reason why we do it. We hope you have as much fun listening as we do doing the show every week. And every week it is. We will be back on our regular day of Tuesday next week, as far as I know.
No, we won't.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We will be on Wednesday. That's right. Thank you. I knew there was a reason. Yeah, you're such a good coach.
Next Wednesday we will
That's
return.
Right. We will be on Wednesday next week. And on that note, welcome to 2024, and thank you all for tuning in.